Hi guys, we're back. We're now going to start our dessert. It's a New York cheesecake with a little bit of an Irish twist to it. First of all, you have to start your ovens at 175 degrees. And then we're going to prep our spring form. So you have that ready. You got to butter it and then cover it with paper. Wenn ihr soweit seid, dann müsst ihr euren Ofen anmachen auf 175 Grad. Und dann benutzt ihr eure Springform, müsst sie einfetten, Backpapier raufmachen, um den Kuchen besser dann auch wieder runterzunehmen. Genau. We're going to start with the biscuit base. So you use shortbread cookies for that. I've already crushed them up. And then we get liquid butter. You can heat it in the microwave or in the oven, wherever. And then you add that to the crushed biscuits and you kind of swirl it all around and make it into a really nice base. Okay. Also wie ihr seht, habe ich die Kekse schon zerbröselt, damit die richtig schön fein sind. Und dann kommt unsere flüssige Butter hier rein und die vermengen wir dann zusammen, damit es eine richtig schöne Boden wird für unseren Kuchen. Do you want to do it? Nah, I'll do it. Have you ever done a cake?
Yeah.
You've made a cake. Not usually trusted with the cake. It's not your field of expertise.
No. Keep me away from desserts.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a classic American dessert, but we're putting a twist on it by adding an Irish whiskey cream liqueur, and it gives it a nice little, caramelly taste to it. Genau, ich vermenge jetzt gerade hier die Kekse mit der Butter zusammen. Und eigentlich ist das hier ein New York Cheesecake. Aber wir machen in die Mischung noch einen irischen Cream Liqueur, also ein Sahnelikör rein. Thanks a lot. So you just need a pinch of salt, not a lot.
Nice.
Okay, so now that this has been mixed, I'm gonna pour it in here and we're gonna flatten it. You want it to be really flat so that the base is really flat for the filling to kind of get a really nice, perfect edge to it. Also wenn ihr das vermengt habt, die Butter und die Kekse, ein bisschen Salz noch reingemacht, macht ihr das in die Springform rein und drückt es dann runter, damit es schön flach bleibt. Man kann sogar noch mit einem Löffel das richtig glatt machen. Und dann, sobald das einmal fertig ist, machen wir das in den Ofen für 10 Minuten, damit es einmal ein bisschen angebräunt wird. Können uns dann schon mal die Füllung kümmern. Now that I've pressed this down, nice and evenly somewhat, we're going to put this in the oven now for 10 minutes to give it a nice little brown crust. There we go.
Beautiful.
So now that we've got the base in the oven, we're going to start with the filling. Don't be scared, people, but it's 1 kilogram of cream cheese. Nicht erschrecken, 1 Kilo vom Frischkäse. Kommt hier rein. Now, we have sour cream. We're going to add that in there.
How much sour cream you rolling with there?
It's 200 grams. Gives a bit of a fluff in there,
Bit of tang.
Yeah, tanginess. And it's also a bit lighter than the cream cheese, so I think it's good to kind of counterbalance it.
That's it, makes it not so heavy.
Our Irish cream liqueur, we just add that right in there as well. That's what kind of gives that special note.
A decent amount.
Yeah, it's like 120 ml and maybe a schluck, as the Germans would do. So, ich habe jetzt den Sauerrahm noch reingemacht, das sind 200 Gramm. Und den irischen Sahnelikör, 120 Milliliter. Und einen Schluck, wenn man das mag. Und das machen wir jetzt hier rein. Man kann es natürlich auch mit der Hand machen, aber das ist ein wenig bequemer. 5 Minuten lang ganz langsam vermengen lassen. Ich füge jetzt noch den Zucker hinzu. Das sind knapp 300 Gramm. Wer es ein bisschen weniger süß mag, macht ein bisschen weniger rein. Und das so peu à peu auch noch da reinfüllen, damit sich das alles sehr gut vermengen kann. So, I've got the sugar here. I'm going to add that slowly to the mass, just to, give it a chance to slowly incorporate. And then you're going to let this run for about 5 minutes, just to, get it really nice and smooth, really slowly, just to let everything incorporate. You might want to check the base. It's had a few more minutes. What do you think?
Still a little bit light. Getting darker on the edges.
Yeah.
You happy?
Like, one more minute. And then we're there. But while you're at it, you might as well start prepping the hot water for the bain-marie. It's a fancy word, but it just means that you add a little hot water while you're baking the cheesecake underneath the cheesecake, just to give it a chance to cook through more evenly and to prevent it from browning too fast. Andy bereitet jetzt gerade das heiße Wasser vor, was wir dann unter den Cheesecake machen, wenn wir den backen. Genau, cool. Das heißt bain-marie, also bain-marie.
Is that now boiling water or just...
No, it's just hot water.
So how long do you have to whisk up this for?
I think a good 5 minutes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, baking is about, taking your time, really enjoying it. Honestly, this is best made the day before your fancy dinner. It'll give the cheesecake so much more time to set and you can prepare it beautifully at home, in your own time, and then the day of, it's all ready to go.
Already done, don't have to think about it.
Yeah, and you don't want to, after you've prepared a beautiful dinner, you don't want to then, invest all the time to prepare a dessert. And
stress reduction.
Yeah, and that's what baking should be.
Solid.
Yeah, we're gonna let that cool down for a little bit because we don't want the filling to be shocked by the hot temperature of the base.
Cool. Might crack it up.
We actually have to lower the temperature of the oven now to 160 degrees because the cheesecake does need a high temperature to cook. Also Andy hat jetzt gerade die Base rausgeholt, also den Boden, und den Ofen jetzt noch auf 160 Grad runtergestellt, weil der Cheesecake braucht einfach nicht so eine heiße Temperatur, um zu backen. We're gonna now sift the flour into it. Let's hope this doesn't get messy. Well, baking's supposed to be a little messy, right? At least that's my philosophy. It's fine. All right. You want to sift the flour because you don't want it to get all lumpy in there because it's a cheesecake and you would taste like lumps of flour and that's not really nice. So you put it all in there. It's 60 grams, so it's not a whole lot. We're being very stingy with the flour. Also ich habe jetzt hier das Mehl, all-purpose flour, also Mehl, das ist die Typ 405, glaube ich. Das siebe ich jetzt gerade hier rein. Und jetzt beginnt der ganze Spaß von vorn. Und es darf wieder gemixt werden. So we're gonna let that incorporate. I mean, baking really is just a game of patience. Wir lassen das jetzt hier ein bisschen vermengen, damit es eine Masse wird. Und dann kommen noch die Eier. Das ist die letzte Zutat, die wir hier noch hinzufügen. Und dann ist es auch schon fertig. Und dann mache ich jetzt ein Ei nach dem anderen rein. Also es muss tatsächlich einzeln dazugegeben werden, damit sich die Masse an das Ei quasi gewöhnt. We're now adding the eggs one by one. We have 3 eggs. And we're just waiting for it to incorporate.
Bringing it all together.
Yeah, let's kind of kick it up a notch.
Cool.
Yeah, you can see it slowly coming together as one mass. And once that is finished, we're going to fill it into our spring form. Make it all nice and even so it looks nice. And then we're going to put it in the oven. Add some hot water to the baking sheet that's below it. And then we're going to cook it for 50 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, wenn das letzte Ei jetzt drin ist und das alles vermengt ist, werde ich dann die fertige Füllung auf den Boden hier gießen und dann schön glatt streichen, damit es gut aussieht. Dann packen wir das in den Ofen und da backen wir es dann bei 160 Grad für ungefähr 50 Minuten. Und nach 35 Minuten sollte man schon mal ein bisschen gucken, einfach wie es aussieht. Gucken, ob dann wie das oben aussieht, weil es kann dann nach einer Weile ein bisschen braun werden. Und falls es ein bisschen zu braun werden sollte, macht man einfach Alufolie drüber, um das zu schützen. Aber bisher habe ich das noch nicht gebraucht. Aber es ist ein Tipp, falls es dazu kommen sollte. Alright, I think we're getting there.
So how do you know when it's done?
Well, I mean, you just
Looking
gotta.
pretty creamy now.
Yeah, I've seen a few bits and pieces of egg white, so we
Yeah.
want to make sure that it's all incorporated. Otherwise, you don't have like that even creamy
Consistency through the whole thing?
Yeah,
Cool.
because when you cut into the cake, you really want to have like that creamy slice, right? I mean, it's a whopper of a cake.
Yeah, a kilo of cheese is pretty solid.
You gotta make sure that that water isn't boiling.
Yeah, I just...
Yeah, that's a slow boil. Yeah, you can turn it down now because we're almost ready to fill it in there. I mean, really, this cake is pretty straightforward. Once you have all the ingredients prepped, you can just all throw it all together. There's no huge science behind it. You don't have to whip up egg whites or do anything fancy. So I feel like it's good for any stage of baking you're at. Yeah. And once it's all incorporated, you just fill it in there and then it just bakes. All right, so now we've got our filling done and we're gonna pour it on top of the base. Wenn ihr die Füllung fertig habt, macht ihr sie auf die Base. Oh, look at that. That's silky smooth. It might even fill up the entire spring
That's a big
form.
old cheesecake.
Alright, now scrape it all up. Also wenn ihr das alles hier rausgefüllt habt, versucht, dass es einigermaßen ebenmäßig ist, weil es dann einfach schöner aussieht, wenn es gebacken ist. What I do, I just kind of wiggle it around.
Getting the air bubbles out.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and you kind of just like give it a little jiggle. That helps to even it out, makes it nice and flat. And then maybe pop a few of those bubbles, because you'll see those bubbles once they were baked. All right, and now let's put it in the oven.
Beautiful.
Yay! We're putting in the cake. Now,
So it's just
Okay.
middle shelf.
Yeah, middle
165
shelf,
degrees.
160. And now may I have this? Thank you. Can you help me with the hot water?
For sure.
Okay, you take out the sheet and you add the hot water in there. You better not splash me.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Also, ihr seht, wie Andy das hier reinfüllt.
Is that enough? You'd like some more?
Little more, little Schluck. Thank you. Und es ist wichtig, dass es schon heiß ist, danke, damit es nicht erst noch aufheizen muss im Backprozess. So, hier drin bleibt es jetzt für 50 Minuten, 50 minutes, 160 degrees. Let's say, after 35 minutes, you give it a quick look. Nach 35 Minuten einmal kurz gucken, wie es aussieht. Und dann immer mal wieder reinschauen, schauen, wie der Kuchen aussieht. Genau, aber 50 Minuten bleibt er jetzt erstmal drin. Und danach, ganz wichtig, ihr müsst den Ofen ausschalten nach 50 Minuten und lasst den Kuchen aber noch drin, damit er ganz langsam sich wieder abkühlen kann. So we're gonna, after we've baked the cake for 50 minutes, we're gonna turn off the oven, but we're gonna keep the cake in here for 35 to 45 minutes, depending, to let it cool down really slowly so that the cake can keep its fluffiness and can, it doesn't get shocked by the sudden cold. And then we're gonna have some delicious cheesecake.
Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. All right. Now comes the big moment. I'm gonna cut into the
It came
cake.
out really nice.
Ooh, it did. I don't want to muck it up by now. Okay. Now, a nice little tip I once got was to heat up your knife in just hot water because it gives a much better cut. You can really cleanly cut into it. Now, ooh, that's looking good. Oh, there you go.
Beautiful.
Now, that's beautiful now. Now, do you want to give it a try?
For sure.
Lucky privilege.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Is it good?
It's so good. And crispy base. Super luxurious cake.
Yeah.
And just that little twang from the cream liqueur.
Yeah.
Which really brings it together. Absolutely delicious.
So, guys, have fun making this at home. It's a treat. And, you might need to eat it over a few days because it is a whopper. But yeah, guys, enjoy. Have fun.